At some point, this is going to give girl interrupted vibes. You just have to kind of roll with it. Last week, I ended up meeting my ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend, so it is time to turn that weird emotion into profit. Girls gotta live. Granted, it's probably not the best way to start this video looking like this and with that sort of a hook. Except that maybe it is, because that experience led me to understand the reality of always looking your best. And right now, I am not looking my best, but we can fix it. So when you have a relatively small face and especially a small forehead, one of the key rules when it comes to choosing the right hairstyle for you, do not go for volume. Too much hair, too much bulkiness, too much density is going to shrink your face, and instead you're going to look like everything else is overcrowding you. That is why the small dainty face looks good with a pixie cut, a shag cut, very cute micro bangs. Doesn't always look the best with something like this. That point becomes even more evident when we realize that the forehead size makes such a big difference to how our face is portrayed. Right now, I don't even have a forehead. I have basically a 3 head, which means that we have a smaller forehead size than proportion would dictate. So today I'm going to be showing you my exact haircut to fix this in under 5 minutes using professional techniques and a fail-proof method. Because sometimes it really does come down to just taking things into your own hands and fixing it. The first thing we're gonna need to do is wet down our hair. If you are working with a base that already has a mind of its own, you're setting yourself up for failure. Do not do that. Grab a water bottle, wet the hair. Taking my comb, I'm literally going to just start with a middle parting down the very center of my face. And traditionally, when you have a small forehead, there is actually a bit of a rule. Bangs or traditional bangs will not really look good on it because it's just going to swallow the face even more. 2 fingers right there. We're going to drag out a triangle from here until roughly the mid-brow. 2 fingers again. Another triangle. This is all the hair that I'm literally going to be cutting, which means that everything else needs to be clipped away because I don't feel like giving myself an accidental cut or any other layers. Now, the style of bang that I'm going to be going for today is a micro bang, and you could virtually just take your scissors, cut it kind of halfway through the forehead and call it a day. But today I actually kind of want something a tiny bit choppier to again give less of a structured look to this face. So instead of cutting shears, I'm actually going to go for a thinning razor. Thinning shears, I'm actually not sure what these are called, but you can find them super cheap on Amazon. They've literally just got a comb feature and blades on either side of it. From here onwards, it literally is going to come down to us to kind of pick and choose what we want to cut. I always like to start by taking off a small slither from the very center of our bang, and this always acts like the guideline. This is what's going to determine the length of the rest of the bangs. Now here's the rule of thumb when you're working with a small face. Cut small amounts of hair, don't go for a lot of hair, especially if you're keeping length everywhere else. If you want your bangs to be longer, make sure that they can be swept to the side. This will retain as much of that length as possible. However, today I'm actually looking to go for more of a micro bang effect, which means instead of length, we're actually going to go for shortness, but choppiness. Do you see how there's always a little bit of bounce in the hair naturally? That's fine, that's what makes hair look good. But a lot of people have the tendency that when you're about to cut, they give it a tug and then cut right where they want their hair to land, which means that when they let go, that hair is going to bounce up about 1 centimeter or ½ an inch. So if I want my bang to land mid-forehead, I actually need to cut at a stretched length of roughly my eyebrows. Do you get it? Great, and now we repeat, except I'm going to do it all at once. At some point, this is going to give girl interrupted vibes. You just have to kind of roll with it. Now, at this point, the hair is looking pretty questionable and you're regretting every decision that led here. But the main aspect of bangs is pretty much always styling. It's time to style them. Hair dryer, this one's from Amazon and I love it. And I'm putting her on medium heat, medium speed. Okay, so at this point we can really start to see that Aubrey Hepburn-esque look to the bangs, and this is already looking so cute. I do want to go shorter. You can continue with the razor. I want to continue with classic scissor and comb. I do really want to maintain that choppy look of the bang. Bangs are ready. Now we need to style the rest of the hair.
What are you doing? Eating shrimp at a party. I just spent 20 minutes talking to daughters about you and they prefer to be talking to you. You need to be Alex. You been listening to me? It's amazing. Oh, the magician? Incredible. This is warm. Oh, yeah, Big Bird said there's no ice. I can't leave. Could you please? Fine. Well, I'll tell you what, Chief. Did you check what? There's some pending. Give me for fucking alone. Under a lot of pressure, I work. Lots of late nights, weekends. Little Sophia just kept asking, why is mommy not coming home with us? If it was her ass and deep. For the CFO of the committee. From the take the name to the name, and that's all that is out. And you refuse to try. American Gray is ready to let you slip into a coma, but I am not. You breathe in through this. Your lungs get stronger. You could better. It's damn simple, man. What do you want to do? Put this film. Just say, Richard, Richard.
Much better. Micro bangs plus a much shorter do means that this haircut is now perfect for a smaller face. Even though they are fully micro bangs, they do fit the face so much just because we are considering the proportions of the forehead with the proportions of the bangs. If someone has a much larger forehead, this haircut might seem a tiny bit edgy or ill-fitting, but on a smaller face shape, it does genuinely tend to look good. Obviously, I paired it with one of my favorite haircuts ever, the ultra cropped bob. Really gorgeous hairstyle if there is a tiny bit of natural wave with the hair, which this just so happens to have. It's not mandatory, but I thought it looked cute. Another gorgeous way of framing these bangs is to pull out two pieces on either side and allowing that to complete the look. This means that even if you pull up the hair, it doesn't end up looking too harsh and it feels well finished. I think it needs a different shirt. Much better. Still chic, still sophisticated, and now much better suited to the facial features that we have. It's also a super easy haircut and pretty difficult to get wrong. Most of the complexity of this actually comes from the styling, but as you saw, a quick blast with hot heat and a tiny bit of wave spray or anything that kind of hardens makes this ready to wear.